What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, scratch-made, amazing! Scratch-made smoked hot dogs turned into corn dogs. Coming up! This is some beef. Ooh. Patty dry. And what I got here is 2 beef chuck roasts. Looking pretty good amount of fat in there, but not too much fat. Just for a hot dog, we're aiming for that 80-20-ish range, and this looks like it should work out perfectly. And today we're going all beef, but infamously, hot dogs can be made out of pretty much anything. Some are all beef, some are beef and pork, some of the really cheap ones are like beef, pork, chicken, turkey, just basically all the scraps from the butcher shop, all blended together, and that's kind of the nice thing about making your own hot dogs, is you know exactly what's going in it. But to start things off, I'm gonna go ahead and cube this up, just because we need this to be really cold, especially for an emulsified sausage. Keeping this stuff cold is very important, so the smaller we make this, the quicker it'll freeze and speed up this pretty tedious process of hot dog making. And if you haven't seen any of my other hot dog making videos, which I've made a few at this point, for those of you paying attention, I do it every 4th of July for the last 4 years. And there's several ways you can go about it. You know, you can do natural casing, you can do the more traditional store-bought casing free, you can do cellulose casings, really up to you. But today we're making corn dogs, so I want a nice straight wiener. So if I did it in sheep casings, it'd have that classic sausage curve to it, not what we're after. And just like that, all cubed up. So now into the freezer this goes for the next probably 45 minutes. While we wait, let's go ahead and get our spices together, starting with some kosher salt, some pink curing salt, some ground mustard, some granulated garlic, some paprika, some white pepper, coriander, marjoram, some mace, a little bit of celery seed, and for our binder, some milk powder. And just get that all mixed up. And now that our meat is nice and cold, very cold, through the grinder we go. I got the small die on there, and again, we want to move pretty quickly because it's like 100 degrees out here, and we definitely don't want this getting too cold. Beautiful grind on that, nice and pebbly. I'm gonna take a temperature of this real quick. 35 degrees, so definitely warming up a little bit. So I'm gonna pop this in the freezer for another 10 minutes, then we're gonna send it through again. Out of the freezer, through a second time. Again, this is an emulsified sausage, meaning it's all homogeneous, so we don't really wanna see chunks of individual meat and fat in there. Commercially, this is done in a buffalo chopper, but I don't have one of those yet. I do wanna get one, but not quite there yet. So really, we're just trying to grind this as fine as possible. And you can already see the difference between that and this up here. Beautiful. Definitely starting to look a little more hot doggy. And just for good measure, I'm gonna go through one more time. There we go, starting to look like a meat paste. And now, in an effort to make as many dishes as possible, we're gonna continue the emulsification process by mixing it in the stand mixer with the paddle attachment. And hopefully we can do it all in one batch. Really wish I did this at the Chud shop because we've got a much bigger stand mixer there and a more powerful grinder. Alas, we mix. And as we mix, we're gonna add in our seasoning, all those spices, and they're not gonna go flying everywhere. And while that mixes with our spices, I'm gonna go in with our water, which I had in the freezer, so it's extremely cold. And we're gonna get this into a nice hot dog farce. Oh God. That did not work very well, and it made an incredibly big mess all up in this stand mixer, which will be fun to clean. But it looks pretty good. Still seeing some specks of fat in there, but you know what? For a homemade hot dog, I think it's gonna work out just fine. Look at this stuff. Already looks like a hot dog. Incredible bind on that. A lot of protein extraction going on. I always get to this stage in a sausage making video and I realize, why did I make so much? This is gonna make an absurd amount of hot dogs, but oh well. If you're gonna go through the effort, you might as well make a bunch. So today we're going on with some cellulose casings. These are for the skinless hot dogs made out of cellulose. And if you haven't seen these before, these are not edible. This is just to get the hot dogs into their shape, and then we're gonna cook them and peel these off at the end. So simply, on the horn we go. Tie it off, just like a normal casing, folks. I'm not gonna snip the tip though, but simply enough, we're just gonna get this all cased up. Ooh, that needs some oil. That sounds awful. I'm casing this pretty tight, but that might be a mistake. We'll find out. And there we go, the world's biggest wiener. God, I made so much. And now we're gonna go through and twist these into individual wiens. Hot dog length, about 6 inches, which is average. And just keep twisting. That one's got an air pocket. Not ideal. And there we go, folks. Some hot dogs. Looking pretty good. Nice and tight, no blowouts. But now we repeat. I wonder if my neighbors know that there's some dude in his backyard making a bunch of hot dogs right now. One thing I will say about these casings is that they're really hard to pop. So if you're really new to sausage making, this might be a route you want to go. Although the whole emulsification process is not really all that beginner friendly. And just like that, all cased up, looking pretty good. And it's really not as many hot dogs as I was anticipating. They're a little wider than I thought. But now into the fridge these go to cure overnight and let all those flavors develop. We'll check back in tomorrow. Tomorrow later. Hot dogs are looking good. Looking very similar, but feeling a lot more firm. That sodium nitrite did its job, and that meat has continued to bind overnight. So now we need to get some smoke on these things. Going on the old pellet grill today for these, and we're just gonna get them all loaded up. And I'm gonna go up top for most of these, if they all fit. Definitely feeling a little more plump, which is a good thing. Beautiful. We're gonna be cold smoking these today, just for a couple hours to get some good color and smoky flavor on them. So I got the smoke tube down here, full of pellets, and we're just gonna get that lit up. Beautiful, that should go out, it did. And now we should have a good few hours of some nice heavy pellet smoke to get some good color and flavor on these. So we'll check back in a couple hours. All right, y'all, it's been about 4 hours on this cold smoke, still puffing away over here. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to go this long. I was only gonna do about 2 hours of smoke, maybe 3, because they're really small and I don't want to get too much smoke on there. But I was doing some work and running some errands and I kind of forgot that I was filming this video. So let's see how they're looking. Ooh, yeah. Definitely very smoky. Deep red. I mean, look at that. That's crazy. And luckily these are cured, so I'm not really worried about anything other than the fact that they might have too much smoke flavor. But they are looking nice and plump. And if we temp this end guy here, we're at about 108 degrees internal. So I'm gonna fire this thing up, probably at about 250, just to get these cooked to about 130, 140 degrees internal. Boop. And because it's got these built-in probe thermometers, I'm gonna stick one of these in one of these end guys here. That's why I left these on here, so I could temp them. And when they come up to temp, we'll go ahead and pull them off. And just like that, off the pit these come. Did not take long to get these up to temp. Woo, nice and toasty. But into the ice bath they go. And that's just gonna stop the cooking process, shrink these up, make sure they don't overcook and have some fat leach out. It's also gonna shrink the meat a little bit, which will make getting these casings off a lot easier. After several minutes in the ice bath, these are fully chilled, so out they come. I'm just gonna make a mess. It's fine. You want to talk about hot dog water, take a whiff of this. But from here, all we need to do is remove these from their casing. So I'm gonna go ahead and snip these all apart. And now just try to get these out of their casings. Ooh, squeeze it. Usually they slip right out. There we go. They're tight. Boop. And there we have it, folks. A beautiful homemade fully beef smoky hot dog. That looks really good. Feels great too, nice and dense. Got that little butthole end that hot dogs are known for. No casing, ready to go. And now my dogs are here, and I must face the glizzy curtain. Not much to it, comes right off, and there we go, another beautiful dog. And just like that, all cleaned up, looking absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at these homemade wieners, folks, come on. How you doing? Smelling nice and smoky, and they're definitely all the exact same size because I'm just perfect at everything. Whoops, that's all right. Now, we could use these right now, but it's like 8:30 at night right now, and I've had a very hectic day, so I'm gonna put these in the fridge and we're gonna come back and make some corn dogs tomorrow. Our hot dogs are made, so now all we need to do is make a batter and chuck them in a deep fryer. So I'm going into a bowl with some all-purpose flour, some yellow cornmeal, baking powder, some kosher salt, and our sugar. And just get that all nice and mixed up. Next up, going into the middle with some buttermilk. I'm sure regular milk would work just as well. 1 egg and a splash of some oil. This is avocado oil. Get in there, make sure that egg is nice and broken up, and mix this until a nice batter is formed. And just like that, a beautiful batter is done. This is about the consistency I'm looking for, but if yours is too thick, you can always add a splash more buttermilk. But I'm gonna transfer this into a jar, anything tall and deep enough that you can submerge your wiener into. And we're gonna just do our best to not get this all over the place. I failed. Now what we gotta do is grab our wieners, grab a stick. This is a corn dog stick. Bought it on the internet, but a chopstick or any kind of skewer will work. And we're just gonna shove it right on through, trying to keep everything nice and centered. There we go, not much to it. Oops. Sorry, buddy. I will note, I made this batter like 5 minutes ago, and it's definitely risen up a bit, so I shouldn't have filled it so much because that baking powder's working, and now I'm definitely gonna make a mess, but in we go. Boop. Give it a nice swirl. Oh yeah, we can do a test run on this first one, see if we need to thin this batter out at all. But now, into a fryer we go. Got this oil rocking at about 350 degrees. Drip off any extra batter here, and we're just gonna kinda let it float for a minute so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And in we go. Looking pretty good. Just gonna kind of roll it around, make sure it's browning evenly all over. I will say having some tongs handy makes this a little easier because these want to float and they're really hard to turn over. And just like that, out of the fryer, all cooked up, looking beautiful. And I gotta say, I always love when a cook goes according to plan. And this one, I've never made before, but that worked out perfectly. That is a good looking corn dog, folks. Pretty excited about that, but really it's all about how it tastes. Pretty excited about this one, folks. Whoa, that was phenomenal. I mean, come on, it's a homemade smoky corn dog. How's it gonna be bad? Damn, that is good. Nice and hot all the way through too. I was a little worried about that. Nice and soft too, that bread on the outside. Usually when I have a frozen corn dog, it's kind of crunchy and hard, but that's like actually cornbread wrapped around a hot dog. Very good. It's finally here, folks. Corn dog mountain. And just look how juicy that is. Come on. Beautiful weens over here. Very satisfying thing to make, I tell you what. Is there any better way to celebrate the 4th of July than a corn dog dipped in some yellow mustard with a nice refreshing cold beer? I think not. Whoops. That was so good, especially with the mustard. I mean, good Lord. Good God, that hot dog is genuinely fantastic, you know? I know it doesn't really seem worth it because hot dogs are so readily available and so cheap, but this batch in particular is so good. Perfect amount of smoke flavor. The texture on it is perfect, you know? It looks like a hot dog, but it's even juicier. And it's made with quality beef instead of God knows what they put in those things. And we're deep frying hot dogs. It's always a good day. I'm doing it. Bell of approval. Worth making, folks. It eats more like a sausage than a hot dog. It's almost snappy, which is kind of weird, but probably the best hot dog I've ever made. Now the real question is, can I freeze these and reheat them and have them still be good? I don't know. Guess we'll have to find out. Dip, dip, mustard. Ow. See odds of that. That was very good. Would you like a corn dog? Yes, I would love a corn dog.
You can't sing both parts of the duet.
Did you know the other part?
That's what I was gonna sing.
There's mustard.
Is this of the honey variety?
No.
Oh.
It's corn dog sundae.
Okay. You put the stick a little too high.
Yeah,
I like having a couple bites until I get to the stick.
Yeah, I didn't think that through. I'm not very well versed in the corn dog making world, but
Good.
all in all, I think that came out pretty good.
Yeah. It was classic.
I
You didn't
missed.
get any weenie.
I missed. These sat out for a bit. I just dropped them back down for like 12 seconds. Definitely crisped them back up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's good. I like dogs. Next time I'm making jalapeno cheese sausages and doing this to it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, it'll be real good. Jalapeno cheddar. How's the dog itself?
Good. I think it could be smaller. I like a little more bread to dog ratio, but I might be alone in that.
Yeah, I could have made the batter a little thicker, but then this thing would be huge.
Yeah.
Like that's already
But
pushing the limits.
taste-wise, no complaints.
I made it myself.
Delicious. Should we cheers our dogs?
Boop. Mustard.
Dip, dip.
That is good. And with this very little bite of corn dog, I think it's time for the official taste test. Ooh. Yeah. You're a little corn dog. Oh, that's the good stuff. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic scratch-made hot dogs turn into some homemade corn dogs that are just absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend giving this one a try. I know it's a lot of work, but that really is one of the best hot dogs I've had in a long time. I've been tweaking that recipe for years now, and that corn dog, whew, definitely something I'll be doing again very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!